Hi,
Thank
how
you
are
for
you?
doing this interview
Of
for
course,
me.
I'm happy to.
So, can you explain to me what your role here is at Kokomo? I really don't know that well.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. So my title is Assistant Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Student Success, which I always tell students that it's only the last two words that matter, the student success part. So what this is an administrative role that is responsible for trying to improve as many processes as possible across the campus so that students have the best possible chance at being successful. And so in practice, what that means is that I have done a lot of work with academic advising, because that, the work of the advisors is so central to helping students to know that they're keeping on track to graduation, to know when it's time to withdraw from a class, those kinds of things. Well, the way in which the advisors works with students, like their interpersonal approach, makes a big difference in whether the student feels empowered to make a given decision, right? And whether they feel ownership over that decision. So that's what a lot of my work with advising has been about, is kind of pulling from my background in psychology, working with our director of advising, Kelly Keener, and trying to help advisors become coaches rather than decision makers for students. The other big part of what I do in my job has been about helping change and improve our onboarding process for students. So like the new student orientation, then our fall convocation, the first year seminars, and freshman learning communities, expanding those. What we used to call Summer Bridge, we've improved that, and now we call it the Key Summer Institute. Right, so like all those pieces that help make sure that students who are new to college have a really smooth adjustment, right? That they're getting the information that they need at the time that they need it in the whole process, so that they can be successful in that first year. Because when you look at the national data about students who graduate from college and students who do not, a lot hinges on that first year. The statistics, again, including all four-year institutions from the Harvard on down, is that 60% of students who start college actually ever finish a four-year degree. It's not that great, right? On our campus, we actually see that a lower percentage than that will finish. And a lot of that has to do with just circumstances that students bring to us, right? So like students who have less disposable income may choose to come to our campus instead of places that are more expensive, but that also means that they maybe have to work more than students at other campuses, that kind of thing. But there are still some things that we can do to make our campus more engaging, more attractive, more personal, and more supportive of students. So that's really my job, is to think about all those things.
Wow. Wow. So it's been a while, but I remember you said your mom's Korean, right? So like, what kind of, I guess, connections do you have to Korea still? Is it just in the U.S.?
I would say that my connections to Korea have been more built through the nursing trip than through my mom. So I would say through our childhood, she visited maybe 6 or 7 times. That's every few years at most.
It's expensive.
Very expensive. We were a family in poverty. That's how I grew up. And so for her to be able to go back and visit at all, took a lot of stretching, and took a lot of support from her family, being willing to take care of some things so that she could come. But it wasn't as regular as she would have liked, and they never came to visit us. Of course, we are really glad for those opportunities for connection, but most of my own connection to Korea, like, I still felt very distant from it until I visited, and that wasn't until a few years ago. And then I get to go back in May.
You do?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. Yeah, so
Yay!
the School of Nursing, right? In order to run the trip,
Right.
2 faculty need to go each time, and so one of the big reasons that I went last time was to start to get the lay of the land about how that trip goes, so that next time I can help co-lead it.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
I really want to go again. So, like, the reason why I asked that, so, like, would you say, like, your cultural background of, like, any, like, of the Korean experience have, like, helped you impact your time here at IU Kokomo?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I would think, I think the main thing is that, so I you know, have grown up as a member of a culture that was like a tiny minority in Indiana, right? So I grew up in Fort Wayne. Not many Korean people went to, in fact, it was myself, my brother, and my sister were the only partially Korean people who went to our high school, and that's just how it was. But I think that, you know, having that perspective of, I mean, to be candid, typically other people associate me with white culture.
Yeah.
And I went to a very racially mixed school where actually about 80% of the students who attended were black. I remember very distinctly going through that process when I was like in 5th grade is when we moved there. And my first impression was like, oh my gosh, look at all these beautiful, talented people who can all dance and sing, and they're hilarious. And like I just had that kind of monolithic view. And then over a few years I was like, wait a minute, that one isn't funny. That one can't dance. That one can't sing. They're really all individual, and some of them are nicer than others. Oh, you know, and like you get this real appreciation of, like, you know, we can be a member of a group, and yet it takes time to appreciate people's individuality. And so I think that perspective helped me look at myself a little more clearly, and I think that is a viewpoint that, I mean, honestly, not many people on this campus have the, you know, kind of privilege of getting to have.
I think that's all the questions I really have.
You made it easy on me, Sarah.
I know.
You're very good.
Thank you. So, yeah. Well, thank you.
Yes, of course.
And if I ever have any more questions about anything, I'll be sure to contact
Good. And are you going to walk at May's
Yes,
graduation?
I
look
am.
forward to seeing that.
I am.
I will
Although
cheer
I have to
for
take
you.
2 summer classes, but it's okay.
No, that's all right. No, I'll give you a little whoop whoop.